Pre-show gag reel, bro.
Here we go. Yeah.
Come on, Tommy. You sit there.
I've been filming you guys the whole time. So.
Word, I know. We're gonna have like the whole thing though, bro.
Yeah.
We gotta have it like I don't know. We gotta have like some stuff.
I mean, I expected you both to just like try and bust my balls the whole time, but
Nah, bro. I mean, we're gonna do that.
well, let's save it.
Also,
Can we just
bro?
all just agree that we'll just save it for CJ? Like, can we just all save it up?
We're gonna bust you up. We're gonna bust him up. We got enough to go around, bro.
Man, yeah.
It's so funny. Like,
you can't leave without a little damage when you come on the grown man
it's
side.
it's so funny. Like, he always is like, oh, like. When we go to Pie Cow, he's like, oh, let's make fun of Tommy. And, like, everyone would start making fun of CJ, too. And then he'd look at me. He just kind of look at me like...
We're just a bunch of clowns, bro. That's pretty much about the gist of it. I know,
Well,
I am.
When you guys lived at the house out in Hollywood, like, and we would go to Pie Cow, it was just like, how long can you survive if you've never come to get chai with us? Like, how long can you sit there and, like, take your balls being busted?
We just be doing what we doing, man.
Because
just have fun, though, man. It's all
it was
love,
always
man.
in good fun, but, like, T would be like, hey, man, da-da-da-da, and then Luke would, like, come through with, like, the one-liner follow-ups, and CJ would be like, oh, well,
You would always be calling me about being on the phone. I'm like, bro, I used to trip about that, but no, it's true, though.
That's why Ian and I are friends. Because I go over to kick it with T, and he's like, I need to make this call real quick, and he'd be like...
They used to call me T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. Yeah, he'd be like, he'd come in and be like, hey, Tommy, I'd be in the kitchen.
Don't hit the mic, bro.
I'd be in the kitchen with Ian, and, like, we'd be talking, and he would come through on his cell phone, he'd be like, yeah, he'd be like, yeah.
But even his imitation would be so good. It's so true, though, bro.
Hey, tell me while you're up. Hey, tell me while you're up. You want to show the audience all your tattoos? Bro, this dude, the first thing he did when he walked out the door.
That's cool, bro.
Well, you're a tattoo artist.
I know, but I just
hold on.
Hey, bro, come on, Tommy, stop clowning. Let's get into it,
bro.
man.
He walks in. He walks in. He's like, oh, I gotta show you my new artwork. Takes off his shirt, pulls down his pants. He's got the full
bro, we do not want to see that, bro.
I got the windows open.
We don't want to see that.
You guys good? You guys good?
Bro, come sit down.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
You about to not be on the show, man. Come on, let's do this.
You gotta go trade some
clown.
No, that's
anyway, bro. Yeah, man. Hey, y'all, look. We're about to get into it. We got our man Tommy here, man. Actually, our man. Tommy's our man's and them. We go back like, what, 20 years, dude? It's been a minute, right?
It was summer of 2000 on Cornell over near the Hillsborough Airport.
Over 20 years. Hey. So, yeah, man. Tommy had a dope idea, man, as far as, like, confidence, man. And just, like, how style, and your personal way of doing things kind of ties into that, your overall mindset and stuff like that. What you think, man? What you think, Luke?
Yeah, man, I think it's a dope concept because, just a little bit of attention no matter what your style is, And like, I think everything we talk about here, we're not talking about one status quo, we're talking about finding your thing and running it with confidence. So Indeed. I think we're going to approach it that way because, none of us are up here wearing Versace.
No, never.
Like,
and then, bro, real quick, like Tommy said, just the overall betterment, man. That's what we do on the show, man. We're trying to encourage, like we say, connect and build. And Tommy's concept was so dope, man, because he was just like, he was kind of like funneling to the overall, like just the mood and the aim of the show, man. It's like all the beef and stuff going on right now, man. But we're three who've been connected for a long time, but we're also trying to connect with y'all too and encourage others to continue to connect with others as well. So let them know what's popping, Tommy. What's up, man? Let them know who you are, man.
What's up? My name's Tommy. I am a proud dad, proud husband. Just kind of starting a new career.
He's a great friend.
Thank you. Reconnected with this guy over here after like 14, 15 years. Just picked it right back up again like no time had passed. So, basically I mean, in terms of style, I guess if we're going to start off with that, my style comes from my experiences in life and phases that I've had. In high school, I was really into the anarchist punk scene. I was also into skateboarding. So, that was my first style where I was stepping off on, exploring things. I went from wearing like really baggy pants to like skin tight black jeans, steel toed Doc Martens. I had the 3-row studded belt that didn't go on my belt loops. And then as I got older, that changed. By the time I was a senior, I got tired of wearing the boots all the time. It's a pain.
That's a committed look, bro.
Facts, man.
That's
Yes,
a lot of work.
it is very
That's well put, Luke.
And I guess you could say I got more.
Wearing leather on a hot day.
Oh,
Bro,
dude,
yeah,
that's why
your
punk
boy
rock.
ain't trying to see it. I ain't trying to see it.
Punk rock
I ain't trying
funk
to
is a
smell
thing,
it.
man. That's what I'm saying. Punk rock funk is a thing. Like you go to shows and it's like BO because everyone's wearing leather and it's like 1,000,000 degrees.
And you never wash that
gosh,
jacket, you know,
bro.
man, because you got all those.
No.
I lasted like an hour in that. I'd be like, yeah, I was pumped for like an hour, bro.
Depending
Like,
on the band, though, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about being in the funk, bro. I'd be like, I'll just stick my ear in the door, bro. I'm good.
Yeah.
But by the time I was a senior, I'd changed my punk rock style. I was more into wearing like I had these like military green slacks that I like to wear with these busted up dress shoes and like punk rock t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wore. And I also started to get more into hip hop. I mean, I always listened the whole time I was in punk rock. Like I listened to hip hop still. Like I'd go home and listen to DJ Shadow and Wu-Tang Clan, like almost every single night.
That's so
They're
funny,
somewhat
bro.
synonymous, though, bro.
And J. Rue the Damager. I never
Yeah.
got rid of my J. Rue CDs. But anyway, so like I got into, you know, my senior year, I started to kind of get out of the hardcore punk rock look, and I started to, you know, summer of '99, leading into 2000, I really got into hip hop. So, I mean, that's when I met you cats, and, you know, my pants started to get a little bigger.
Yeah.
You know, I started to, you know, alphanumeric. You guys remember those skate jeans?
Oh, yeah. They had the shirt with the B16 on it, man. Me being a car guy, I'm like, come on.
Well, you know, I just, you know, at the time, skateboarding and hip hop fashion was pretty intertwined. You know, you'd see guys in videos with iPads, and you know they don't even skate. You know.
Ooh,
But then
used to be what Vans now don't skate. I had to. I'm sorry.
Vans?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Vans is kind of like that
Jab.
California shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. My
yeah.
wife grew up wearing Vans, and I don't really care for Vans. I just burn through them.
That's what's up.
Like-
You were making a point, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. So, you know, I went really into hip hop, you know, with the baggy jeans, the 555 soles, the alphanumerics that were really popular. You know, hung out with, you know, people that were influenced by Jamaican and Rastafarian culture, like hanging out with you and CJ. And, you know, I started to, you know, dress a little bit more in, you know, the Rasta skater hip hop area a little bit. My jeans got baggier. I started to wear, you know, those iPath Caterpillars, and then immediately after that, I cut my dreads off and I started to work for Express. You know, so like
That was quite a
switched it
change in
up, yeah.
style, bro.
yeah, it was
That's
interesting.
right, you worked for Express.
Yeah, so
I
I
remember
started selling suits and, you know, wearing sweaters with the V-neck collars and, you know, wearing ties. Like I had to wear, you know, I had dressed a certain way for work, and that kind of influenced my style at the time when I was outside of work. So, you know, I was still, you know, I'd wear a punk rock t-shirt with, you know, some nice slacks and some, you know, my DVS skate shoes, you know, so like, and I did that for a while, and then it's kind of metamorphosed. I've taken all those elements that I had back then and, you know, developed my own personal style now to where I'm at. And I think that, you can convey a lot of where you've been and where you're going with what you're wearing. And I think that you can use those past experiences to boost your own confidence when you're going out. Because there's some people that you can tell they really don't care what they wear.
With that impression that they give off, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, like some people will say, "Oh, I don't care what I wear." Well, you're definitely conveying that. But it also I feel that also how you dress conveys to people how you feel about yourself. You don't have to wear, like you're saying, you don't have to wear Versace to feel good about yourself. Like, you know, I used to really want, you know, 7 from All Mankind jeans, like $200. And I wear Levi's because...
Yeah, that's like a hole in my book. I don't even know what those are. But
yeah, it was just like, they're like ridiculous jeans you can buy from Nordstrom.
See, for me,
they're
man,
well
like,
cut, though.
Really?
I will agree, but like, you know, I like Levi's. They're timeless. They're classic.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, it's like Levi's just because rarely do they do anything weird with the pockets. You know, the pockets aren't raised up a little bit,
like those True Religions with the...
Like, bro, like, there can't be
embellishing.
anything funky. You know what I mean? I remember going to, like, Old Navy in the 90s because, you know, you could get cheap carpenter jeans, and I skated those for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, those were the only ones. Like they just didn't fit right. Like, things were too tapered. You know what I mean? Back in the day, like, tapered pants. Like, in the 90s, man, I was skating blind jeans. Blind jeans. If you skated in the '90s, you know what blind jeans are. Like
Huge.
everybody
Big boys, like Jankos almost.
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 Almost. Not as ridiculous. They
No,
didn't have
agreed.
like, they weren't like quite a barrel. They didn't look like a barrel as much. And they didn't have like the pockets that were 2 feet deep. They were like a regular pair of jeans, but they were just baggy, you know.
Well, like
plus you buy them
with Janko, it's like
4 sizes.
you
too
lift
big.
up the leg and you have like a kid attached, like hidden underneath, like
Yeah.
holding onto your leg because they were just so big.
You know what's so funny, man, is I see young skater kids coming into the store and they look like they legitimately skate, right? And they're wearing like, you know, it's, you know how throwback fashion, and some of them are wearing Genko, and I've seen kids killing it at the park wearing these old Genko, the same kind of jeans, and I'm like, you know, because I understand, because some things it's kind of like, it's almost like the fact that it's not pretty. You know what I mean? It's like, here, look at, I took this ugly thing, but I look good when I'm skateboarding
Well, that's
and
almost
wearing it.
that's
you know
almost
what
the
I mean?
trend right now.
Yeah,
What?
it's like looking like
Looking bunk, you
looking
know,
bunk.
Interesting.
It's like the normcore thing came around, right?
like people,
Yeah.
men and women now are wearing their jeans like all the way up to their belly button level.
Yeah, I'll be honest, bro. Like some of the styles that I see where I work, you know, in like Southeast Portland, is like I am not keyed into like what I see most of the time. But I mean, you see everything. But I mean, like the trendy
Old
Portland
people
style, you know, where we've gone from like, you know, I think a lot of people associate sometimes like the coffee shop, you know, and like that whole kind of, you know, coffee shop image. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's all kinds of styles. but-
It's almost like a '90s resurgence happening right now. Like the mom jeans are super popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the high water pants with dudes now are super popular.
Those old Guess style jeans like the girls used to wear, like in
Yeah.
the 80s and 90s, like
Yeah.
that would come up a little bit higher and they had the mom pockets up higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those have been like circulating, bro. I saw those like 10 years ago and then they kind of fell off and they just kind of come back. I kind of feel like nowadays it's like each generation is digging up from previous generations.
But it's always like that.
Yeah, it's
style
always
is
like
something. Not to degrade or detract from the point you're making, but style is like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, even things that are timeless, kind of. I mean, they're timeless for a reason, but I think
Clarks.
though, like what you're saying. What'd you say?
I'm just saying, like I'm interjecting with Clarks, for example, classics.
Before they were made in China, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole other. But nah, my bad, bro. You were making a point. You said you feel like that people pulling from like prior.
Yeah, I feel like almost anything goes now, because I remember being in high school and like you had like kind of the 60s and 70s trend come through, right? And you couldn't like people weren't repeating the 80s yet because that was just 10 years ago. So that stuff was
Exactly.
lame at that point. You didn't want to be wearing that because that was like your hand-me-down clothes. You know what I mean? And now
Yeah,
you
I
want
do.
those hand-me-down clothes.
Oh yeah.
Well, bro, you know the general rule when it comes to fashion and style is generally each decade is going to be like the one 20 years prior. So the 80s kind of mimic the 60s, the 90s mimic the 70s, and so on and so forth. And now you see the 2000s somewhat mimicking the 80s and the 90s in certain ways. And you kind of saw that progression.
Yeah.
All kinds of just like wild colors and shoes and just stuff like, okay. But I don't know. I'm boring. I mean, you can kind of tell by looking at the way I dress. The way I dress doesn't change much. I wear a lot of plaid, polos, and tees. So,
But I would say that you have changed the way you dress slightly.
I wear
You're-
tighter pants now.
I was just, and you used to give me so much crap, like,
Yeah.
hey Tom, how tight are your pants today? You know, that kind of stuff. But that was also when I was working at Express, so I was wearing, you know, really form-fitting clothes a lot. Which is,
Bro, what
if
was
you
that?
would
Okay,
like
go ahead.
this, that's right when we like started to, you know, our paths took us different ways in life. But if you had seen me, like, you probably wouldn't have recognized me at all, because like. It was just like I looked at some old pictures of myself and I was like, dang, like I'm wearing purple pinstripe pants, a purple shirt, and like a gray cashmere sweater. Like
I'd say there's certain parts of the 2000s and the 2010s that are just kind of, especially, I don't know, like I don't never really like switched up my style too much, you know what I mean? But like, I think you tend to see people that if they're not being super intentional how they dress, they tend to dress the same way they dressed at like the prime of their life, like after high school or, you know, in their young 20s. And then you kind of continue that and, you know, you still see it, dude. It's like, it's so funny seeing like 40-year-old dudes wearing Sublime t-shirts, and I'm like, dude, I remember you in high school, you were wearing the same shirt, you know what I mean? It just
that's
kind of
what-
still has the same image, you know, and stuff like that. But, you know, I kind of get it because, man, like, I think all of us definitely, like, came across certain stuff in the 90s, and you know the 80s and 90s had some good
Even in-
stuff with
even in-
culture and music, you know, and just like hip hop, skateboarding. Like to this day, bro, like, you know, I think it just goes without being said that if you're into hip hop, into skateboarding, bro, you look back to the 90s, and I mean there's just so much that came out of that time. You know what I mean? So it's for me, it's like easy to get stuck in that era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's like hard for me to get out of that era, bro. Like, cause my jeans aren't as big as they were, like the blind jeans, but I cannot wear fitted jeans. Like I was telling you before the show, I won't even leave the house in fitted jeans. And I think maybe this might bring us back to kind of like our point that we were talking about, to where like even if you're not like going to the top stores to do fashion, you know, pay attention to certain things, man. Like the way your clothes feel when you're wearing them, you know what I mean? Like you got a shirt that's a little too high, and you know that every time you kind of lift up your arms, you kind of, you know what I mean? Like, and that makes you uncomfortable. It's gonna be with you all day. And it's one of those things I think you would easily not pay attention to. And if you felt more comfortable, at least in what you're wearing sometimes, you know what I mean? That gives you some confidence.
There was I don't even remember when it was. I think it was the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy when it came out. My family and I would watch that program a lot, and there was the, there was like, the premise of the show was 5 gay men would come over and help a straight man, like, give him a makeover, basically. Like, his apartment's messy, they'd help clean him up, or like, you know, they had this dad who, like, you know, he'd been raising 3 kids by himself, his wife had like passed away, and you know, his daughter was like, you know, I want my dad to feel better about himself. Like, he says he feels good, but like we know that he doesn't. And so like, the fashion dude took him to a clothing store, and the dad was like, I don't want to wear, you know, these clothes that you're picking out for me. And the fashion dude,
did he say it like that, Tommy?
Pretty much. but the gentleman, the guy from you know, one of the Queer Eyes was telling him, you know, like, if you wear clothes that fit your form, you project, other people are going to perceive you as someone that has more confidence, which was interesting. And they interviewed him after, like, because there was a big reveal party thing, and you know, things of that nature. And there was another guy that taught him, you know, hey, these are how you make these hors d'oeuvres, because he would, you know, help him how to cook, because he didn't know how to cook really. And he's like, you know, these are effortless, you can make them, they're delicious. And so at the party, after the party, they interviewed the gentleman, and he was saying, you know, like, I already feel better about how like, I feel better about myself. I have a little bit more self-confidence now because of these clothes. And the guy didn't like get like crazy fashion. It was just, you know, like jeans that fit you properly. You know, they don't have to be tight. You know, just things that fit your form properly. You know, and that's something that I learned when I worked at Express, because, you know, I went from, you know, wearing really baggy hoodies and really baggy skate jeans and, you know, my eye pass that I wore until they fell apart, to, you know, dress slacks and dress shoes every day. And now that I'm not doing that anymore, I still take elements of that with me when I buy clothes. You know, like, these aren't super tight, but they're form fitting, you know, and they're not. See, I wouldn't say that those are overly baggy jeans at all.
It's about as tight as I'll go. Unless I'm wearing Dickies, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because Dickies fit a certain way. That's like a...
Well, and that's the key, though, real quick. I was going to say...
Let's get into this, bro. Like, yeah, because...
I was going to say that...
Different styles, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, for me, in the 90s, it was... Because in skateboarding, the way I saw it is, like, you had Hesh and you had Fresh. All right? So Hesh was, like, the Burnside dudes for the most part. Like,
and for y'all that don't know, that's not the clean cut type guys. It's the guys that just kind of do, you know, what they do, and you know,
the dude that slams a PBR and then rolls in at the elbow at Burnside and then just that's like Hesh, like, you know, trucker hat backwards, Dickies, pretty much just Dickies, you know what I'm saying? Like
pretty much just Dickies.
Hesh punk, you know, it's could be punk too. It's pretty much everything. I mean, and then Fresh was like Girl in Chocolate, bro, like Gino. Facts. And like, you know,
bro,
like
Mike
that
Carroll.
style. Mike Carroll,
freaking,
you know.
Costin.
Yeah, Costin.
Style kings right there, bro.
Yeah, so you had skaters that were like not necessarily wearing skateboard brand clothing. They were wearing Ralph Lauren,
Jamie Fortune,
Polo. Yeah, he dressed fresh too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. I think he was like a mix of Fresh and Hesh, though, bro. I think the cats
he's kind of He was like a Northwest style, like, because that's like how I felt myself. I was like Hesh Fresh. You know what I mean? I wasn't a Burnside skater. I liked the tech skating, like the dudes that had the fresh style. You know what I mean?
Indeed, man, indeed.
But like, it was always kind of it was a combo mix. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
So you find your little mix there, and I you know, the Hesh Fresh, bro. That's like the perfect blend for me. You know?
Well, bro, and here's the thing, to both of what y'all already talked about the last couple minutes, it kind of speaks to the whole aspect that it's all in the details. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you said, how your pants fit. You know what I'm saying? And like you were saying, how your pants fit. You know what I'm saying?
This episode.
I know. Little small things, you know, are kind of like what make the style or make whatever you're wearing pop. And then also to something you were saying, I was thinking about this before you started talking about it. The show I really dug in that regard, as far as like help people get better with their style and confidence, was and I even took a lot from it, was What Not to Wear with Stacey and Clint.
Oh man,
they right. I learned a lot about how
I
pants
watched that
supposed
with
to be
my
cut.
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Daughter's mom all the
Just
time.
yeah, right. But they would tell you so many things that you didn't even know about how clothes are designed and different criteria that they use.
Accessories, like
exactly like a pocket square or something like that, right? But it's the details and the small details are what make something pop, won't make it fashion, but the small details also what make it to where it's your expression. Kind of like you said when you were like punk and you know what I'm saying, and reggae and all stuff. Like it was kind of like an expression of you, but it was a multitude of details. Like you might take a shoe that's a dress shoe, and then you might take a leather punk pant or the green pants or whatever. Right? But you kind of style it how you do it. So.
And bro, if you look at high fashion too, it's like the confidence, right? Like you look at someone like Travis Scott and the way he dresses, right? He'll have some really cool worn vintage T-shirt, and then he's got like the fresh, like his own Nikes, you know what I mean, his own colorway, his own shoe, just like a nice pair of jeans, you know what I mean? But it's like subtle. It's not like, oh, he's wearing all this expensive stuff, you know what I mean? So I think like, you know, like that's a good example of
I think that's a great example. Shoes are a prime way people like to, especially nowadays, like to, you know, spice up their outfit. Like you could be wearing.
Shoes can change up everything.
Oh, absolutely. Like for example, yesterday I was on Northwest 23rd, and a dude and his lady walked by, and they were like, you know, super tight. He was wearing like super tight hipster jeans. He had like a big baggy flannel on, and he had like some Jordan 2s. Like, and they were like fresh, like crisp, like nothing on him. And she was wearing some, I want to say like some old like Reebok high tops as well, and they were fresh too. Like from
probably some classics.
The shoes were probably worth more than everything else that they were wearing.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you can dress down, like if you have the dope shoes, I've seen people just like blue jeans and a white shirt or whatever, you know, plain T-shirt, and then the kicks speak everything. Right?
Oh yeah.
But if it's like if the kicks are all like not in line, then it matches the rest of the suit. It's not highlighted. It's like that's like the shoes are like the gem. You know what I mean? Like this one dude, like I see at the store all the time. He saw me wearing my Benny the Butcher sweatshirt, right? And he was like, "Oh, because you know, not too many people are wearing those. Because I mean, like you have to order it from them.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, you can't go anywhere else and buy it.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be on Instagram and then go to their website. And so like he was like, "Oh, dude." And then like I saw him in there a couple months later. He had a West Side Gun sweatshirt.
Nice.
And he was like, you know what I mean? But like. I could tell like he's super intentional with what he wears, but if you walk by, you're not going to be like, oh, look at this fashion dude, right? But it was subtle, right? He had like some like, you know, like I've seen him wear like this Cartoon Network hat, but it's like a vintage one. And while you might not be into it, you know that there's intention behind that. It's not just like, you know what I mean? So like, I think that's what it is. And then if you look at the trendsetters, like people look odd for a minute, but if they have the confidence, everybody's like, whoa. It works.
Yeah,
it's the confidence that sells it, bro.
Yeah, you make it work.
You make it work.
Dude, so the point that y'all are talking about with shoes is kind of funny because here I go being timeless and boring again. So I'm really not into sneakers. This is like a late development, me wearing sneakers at all. I just wear them because they're comfortable, but for like probably the past 20 years, from about 20 on, I always pretty much wore leather shoes. My mother got me into really, really good leather shoes, like not just Clarks, but like Mag 9.
I remember you were, well, when we first became friends, and then when we became very good friends as it progressed, I only remember you wearing, what skate shoe were you really into at the time? Etnies? I remember you wearing a specific kind of skate shoe, because you said it was super comfortable, and you liked the grip pattern that it had with the way it worked with the grip tape, and then you wore Clarks.
Yeah, I wore Clarks all the time.
All
I had
the time.
Clarks Air Movers. I had Clarks Wallabies. I had loafers. So the funny thing about it, and I mean, here we go again. Like people don't realize that a lot of the things that they're doing have already been done and established. The idea, nothing against what y'all are saying, but I'm saying this is mostly to the sneakerheads because everybody around me is a sneakerhead and I'm not.
I wouldn't call myself a sneakerhead.
I'm saying, okay, my brother and all their Nori, all their friends.
I was gonna say
I'm nowhere.
The dead stock index.
Precisely.
Homie.
Well, it's like dead stock. It's telling you right there. But the idea of the shoe basically defining your ensemble really is taken again from fashion. It's just like when you would talk about like again a nice loafer, a nice wingtip, a nice chucker. That was the premise of what eventually the sneakerheads adopted. So it was really the idea of what was a good leather shoe, even a good boat shoe or something like that, or a good boot or a good moccasin. It's all about a well crafted, well designed, well colored. You know what I'm saying? Leather, generally dressed up shoe that you would wear, and then the sneakerheads, when they got into what they do, they pulled from that. So I mean, and nothing against sneakerheads, but I just want people to understand that concept was already in existence. For the non-sneakerheads, excuse me. It's a situation. That's another thing my mother used to always tell me. She used to say the shoes will make the man. So basically she says you can tell, that's what she would say also, you can tell a lot about a man by his shoes. So if a dude's walking around in some cheapo Pro Wings, you know what I'm saying, or some busted up, it's like a line by Planet Asia. He says, I don't want to say it wrong, but he says, broke inches rock the dingiest Nikes in this song, you know? And when he says that, he says broke inches rock the dingiest Nikes was known since the first gang was formed. So through any block I get it past even when my chains is on. But the thing about it is like the shoe, even in that context, so many contexts, the shoe defines stuff. So understandably, that's something that even in that context was drawn from the dressed up, dressed down, casual type, and also timeless fashion type of mentality, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, off my soapbox.
No, that's dope.
You're wearing timeless fashion, bro. You're wearing Chucks.
That's all I ever wear because I'm boring.
You're not boring.
There's timeless shoes,
Tablecloth.
Chucks, like the original Vans.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
What else
absolutely.
is a timeless shoe that could come back anytime?
Any of the Jordans.
Any of the Jordans.
Yeah. Dunks.
Shelto, Adidas Sheltos.
Yeah.
Sambas.
Pretty much all the
I
original
normally wear
Adidas.
Sambas except I'm wearing my Jordans today.
What do you call the other one? The tennis shoe. Stan Smith.
Stan Smiths.
Yeah.
Those have cycled through. I mean, those were popular when I was in high school. They're popular now. It's
Old
like every
people's
10
shoes are
years
really
they
popular now. You know
Like,
what I'm
I ain't
talking
wearing
about?
them.
The all black like Reeboks and stuff like that have the huge sole on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
That's
the
part of
big
the
chunk.
normcore, bro.
Yeah,
That's
no,
part
they
of the
can have
normcore,
that. They can have it. I ain't messing
Bro,
with it.
people
It's
were wearing
like
the dad Nikes, you know, the ones
Yeah.
you go to like the shoe
Monarchs, bro.
bargain and
Monarchs.
they got the
Monarchs.
The Monarchs.
My brother started a page just for Monarchs, bro. He matter of fact, the shoe he designed, the dunk he did a Monarch in that colorway, bro. I swear, man. We'll have to post a picture of it.
No,
he did a Monarch in that, bro. I was
But
like,
I get the style behind the Monarch. Like, I get it. But
Right.
it's funny, like, when I started seeing it, because you remember that big dog clothing?
Oh my god!
yeah.
Like,
every outlet mall in the country had one of those things.
yeah, dude. So they were talking about
Big
normcore.
dog.
They had a picture of a kid wearing like a big dog shirt. He's wearing
Oh
like those
my
Monarchs
goodness, bro.
and just like plain jeans. You know what I mean? And that was like it's like
Oh my
normcore. And like,
goodness.
dude, that is a like.
And this is the first
That's
I've
the
heard of
thing.
that normcore, but I'm
Really?
like, you say I know exactly what you
You know
mean.
what it
Like,
is,
Oh my
right?
god!
But there's also like different ways that people going back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Different ways people project their self confidence. There's some people that don't really care about the couple I was talking about. They really don't care about what clothes they wear.
Mm-hmm.
You look at their accessories.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie Fortune, prime example. He's sitting there and like. We're at Kohei's apartment. We're all drinking beer, watching skate videos, and he's got like Etnies jeans on. He's got like whatever skate company he was sponsored by. What was the shoe company?
He was on Globe. for
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
while.
say Globe. He's got Globe shoes on, so like everything he's wearing is like the outfit's maybe like $100. He's got a $10,000 Rolex on his wrist.
That's so skateboarding, bro. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
But
Pro
people do that
skateboarding.
all the time. You know, like I know the reason why I'm into wallets is there was a customer of mine at Meyer and Frank.
Plus, he also had a dope Audi.
Oh yeah, that thing
And
was crazy.
when he was talking, I kept thinking about his car.
Audi.
And Matt Beach, bro.
But
yeah, they pull up to the skate park. I think we already talked about that.
Matt Beach too. I guess someone told me that Matt Beach had like to wear I don't even remember, Ralph Lauren or something. There was some
I think
fashion.
everybody like in the '90s wanted to wear Ralph Lauren at some point.
I still like to wear it.
I still do too.
It's classy.
Even Nautica, bro. I didn't wear a lot of Nautica back then, but this is like a vintage hat. And we're gonna talk about where you can source stuff too. You know what I mean? Because in Portland, we're very blessed to be able to source stuff. You know what I mean? But
like, so I digress. When I had a customer at when I worked at the Meyer and Frank fragrance department, I was in men's fragrance.
yeah.
And I had a customer that came in, and he was all about his wallets, like all about his wallets. He had like, you know, he was dressed just like normal. He was a construction worker.
Uh-huh.
He would come in, you know, sometimes he'd have Dickies on, sometimes he'd have Ben Davis. Oftentimes it was Carhartt.
Ben Davis, that's another good staple right there.
Yeah,
It's a West Coast joint.
you know, he had, you know, paint and torn up Carhartts and like whatever, but he pulled his wallet out and it was like Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior. Like he spent his money on his
I
accessories.
love those subtle things, man, because when you see
It's
people
what
that
makes
have
you
something
style,
subtle
bro.
like that, like you might kind of from the outside just see that maybe the way they're dressed, but then when you realize that they have all these things fine-tuned and then they got these little niche kind of style things, you're like, whoa, there's a lot of substance to this person.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Because
Yeah,
there's
they're self-styling it.
intention.
Yeah,
and
they're
I think
self-styling it.
yeah. And if you see
His
someone
thing
put
was-
attention into that, they're probably putting attention into a lot of the other places in life. And a lot of times, those are the people you meet and they're doing something really cool.
Most
You know what I mean?
I mean, he'd come in, you know, sometimes on the weekends because, like, he was my client. You know, I would call him when he loved Armani. So when Armani wasn't even, like, my line where I could get extra bonus, but, like, hey, there's new Armani coming in. Hit him up. Like, hey, dude, like, the new fragrance is coming out. He'd be in. So, you know, he would come in dressed, you know, normal. He'd have Adidas, you know, like a pair of Shelco Adidas and Levi's on. But, man, as soon as he pulled his wallet out or he looked at his wrist, that's where his money went. He didn't, you know, care about anything else, but it was the detail that he would have, like you were saying, you know, and he was very methodical with that. He would say, you know, I got it on sale or whatever, but, you know, that's what he would go for. That's where his extra money would be spent. And it's a subtle expression, you know, but, you know, you put a Louis Vuitton wallet on the counter and people were just like, okay.
I got a quick question for all of this. Kind of tie back to what we kind of started the whole thing up about. So, and I'm gonna ask it to you, Tommy. The question that is, do you feel like through the years as your style's changed, has your style reflected your confidence? The same, more? Like,
I would say I've built more confidence as
Okay.
I've gotten older.
So then start through your
accepting
looks.
who you are is a big part of it too.
Okay.
You know, like there was a phase where I didn't wear a lot of the punk rock t-shirts, or like I have a hoodie that has a Minor Threat patch on and a big
That's a
Swedish
good patch.
punk band Mob 47 patch with like a atom bomb going off that says nuclear attack on the back. But I was walking on Northwest Portland years ago and I had a dude come up to me and ask me where I bought my hoodie from. He's like, "Where'd you buy that?" I was like, "What do you, like, I don't know, I got it as a gift." He's like, someone bought that for you?" And I was like, "Well, I sewed this stuff on, I made this." And he's like, "Oh, I thought you got it at Urban Outfitters." And I was just like, "I didn't, but thank you for the compliment. It makes me feel good that you thought that I bought it somewhere." But I've just accepted parts of my life and my experiences and incorporated them into how, like right now I'm from the Northwest, born and raised in Portland, but I'm a San Francisco Giants fan since 1989. And, you know, it confuses people sometimes, you know? Like I went to get tacos. My wife and I have a taco truck we love to go to near our house. Shout out to Rico's. And this dude came up to me. He's like, "Hey, bro, are you from the Bay?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're Giants hat. Are you from the Bay?" I'm like, "No, I'm from here." He's like, "Oh, word. That's tight. That's tight." And I'm just like,
We don't have a baseball team, so
not
it's all
yet.
good.
Hey, Oakland A's, Portland Athletics, just saying. But
Bring
I
back the
digress.
Seiko.
Bringing back my to what you were saying, like I feel that as I've become more comfortable as a person and as a human and as a man, I have accepted certain aspects of my past and things that I've done, and I've incorporated them into what I wear now.
You like the what do you call it? The when you were locked up, you put that thing.
Yeah.
He's like,
When I'm serving hard time.
I started wearing blues.
But you know, like it's, I'm not everyone and I can't speak for everyone, but that's, you know, how I've come up with my mishmash fashion. You know, I think that I look good, you know, when I go out. I like the way my jeans fit. Because of, unfortunately, I know some crazy sneaker people. I've become a little bit of a sneakerhead. Not much.
Good,
I've never.
Which is not me.
I have a pair of Ian's Dunks that I've never worn in public.
Yeah, that shit might be worth something one day.
Oh, that's like, when like special occasion, like.
I've never even had a pair of Dunks, bro. I never had a pair of Jordans. I had a pair of Jordans.
I never had them growing up.
In 2000, after I graduated, my buddy, what was it? Found like these shoes. His mom was at work and they were collecting all these shoes to donate, and there was a pair of Jordan 1s in there, bro.
Wow, dude.
And they were my size. They were a little tight, but I could wear them.
Yeah.
And dude, they were still like wearable. They weren't falling apart.
So
and he let me rock them for like a week, bro. I rocked those. So I was so stoked because like growing up, I always wanted the Jordan like 4 or 5s, the one with the 23 on the side, and
that might, I don't.
in the net. You know what I'm saying?
I think that might be the same.
And it has a little kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
I know the
4s
shoe.
and 5s.
Yeah, I think the 4 is the one that looks kind of triangle, right? It's more triangle. It's the
Definitely
one.
not this before Space Jam.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no.
Definitely not.
Before Space
and
Jam.
the fours were before Space Jam, but no, I know the 4s didn't have 23 on the side though. The 4s were the first. Well,
They're the
after
5s,
the
I
concrete,
think,
yeah.
or maybe
the
they're the
5s were
3s.
6s, man.
If it was over
The
5
3s
or
were
6s,
the 3s
yeah.
were the ones that looked like.
See, you're more of a sneakerhead than I am.
Well, I know a lot
Because
about the
your brother,
shoes. I
yeah.
just never got into them.
Yeah.
But I will admit, if I did get a pair of Jordans, it'd be 4s. That's just a dope shoe.
I never had any of those growing up because
Yeah, I never.
Me either, bro. I've never owned, never even wore a pair
Dude,
of
I
Jordans.
this
would
is my
look at-
first pair of Jordans I've ever owned, and they're not like normal Jordans.
I've never owned. What were you gonna say?
I would covet Jordans, bro. I'd look at people wearing Jordans, and I just like basketball.
Exactly.
Someone come out on the court with a fresh new pair of Jordans, and I'd be like, oh my gosh. I mean, I always oh man, I used to go to Fry's, bro.
Oh yeah.
Discounted shoes at Fry's, bro. They have the shoes out in the center.
Fry's?
It's
Never
a
heard
dude.
of that place.
It
Fry's
was a
at
dope
Athletics.
shop, bro.
The one in
Dope
Forest
shop.
Grove?
Yeah,
It's still there.
dude. They would have like Nikes
What?
you wouldn't see anywhere else, like shoes.
That just shows you how much of a nerd I truly am. Because you say Fry's, I think discount electronics. We're just
No,
gonna
no,
glaze
I know
right
that
over
one
that.
too.
I understand why you think
We're
that
gonna
too.
glaze over that.
They had one in
It makes you
Wilsonville.
blink.
Yeah.
But
But
No.
yeah, dude, you'd go in there, and I think what they would do is they would buy shoes, and if they didn't sell, like from 10 years ago, they would just keep them.
Wow.
Because you would go in there and you would see shoes that you hadn't seen. Like it would be if they had the same inventory they had back then, dude, it'd be like a dream come true.
they
So
did
you
have
go
hats
there.
too.
Yeah, because I had a $40 limit growing up on shoes.
Yeah, mine was 50, so we're in the same boat.
Yeah,
so like,
so-
I never. That's why I had a pair of Etnies for my freshman year that I wore up until 2005. Like I literally.
That's why I got a job as soon as I could. So I bought my own stuff.
Bro, exactly. That's when my style really started to come through when I got
Me
a
too.
job.
Bro,
I was too broke.
I
though
gave a
for
lot
it.
of my money to Ross.
Bro.
Brian, like polo,
But that's
discounted
the thing too.
polo,
Like you don't
Ross,
have to.
Ross and TJ Maxx, guilty.
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and buy everything brand new to rock something super fresh. And
That's
Never
that's
bought
what we should
anything
get
brand new
into
because
now,
I was
man.
too broke.
like you were talking about before we got on the air, like
Yeah,
Macklemore.
bro. Yeah, like Macklemore, bro.
My
Like,
favorite sweater that I own, I got for 99 cents at Thrift World in Hillsborough near Winco.
Yeah.
It used to be there. It was 99 cents, and it's an old man sweater that buttons up. And I put 4 punk rock pins on it that I've never taken off, and that is my favorite sweater.
Bro,
I will be devastated if I ever lose that thing. It's been to Germany with me. Almost every single time I went to Germany when I was younger. It's anytime I've gone on a trip anywhere, like I took it to Hawaii when I went to Hawaii before I went to culinary school.
Yeah.
Like it is my favorite sweater, and it was 99 cents, and it is
Bro,
completely
you gotta come home.
acrolik.
Tom's gonna come home, man.
It's got
What's
paint
he
on it
looking
from when
for?
I was
It's like,
doing
oh, I threw that thing out. Oh my god! And then freak out, ultra freak out mode right there, bro.
that's happened to me, bro, with a t-shirt. It was just a plain red t-shirt. But it just fit right, you know? It just fit right. And it was like, I liked sometimes clothes that they're like worn. You know that
Oh,
point
yeah.
where it's almost going to disappear?
It's like falling
You know what I
apart.
mean? Yeah, like it was perfect like that. But yeah, man, like sourcing clothes, bro. Because I mean, like I said, like the Hesh Fresh thing, right? And I definitely like the 90s stuff. And so I got into selling on eBay like 4 or 5 years ago.
Word.
And then I started sourcing my stuff from the bins. And if you don't know what the bins are, it's like where you go, it's like a giant Goodwill. And they just have these huge bins where all the stuff is thrown in there. And you literally just have to dig through it. So there's mounds of clothes, mounds of shoes, just hats, bags, everything you can think of. But it's not hanged up all nice. And it's like $1.29 a pound.
Oh, they do it by weight.
By weight. If you get over 25 pounds, it's $1.29 a pound. I think if you're under 25 pounds, it's like $2 a pound.
Not to interrupt you, but Graham, his mom, that's what she would do.
Me and Graham kind of talked about.
Yeah, she was.
We were both kind of on
she
that
was
game for a minute.
serious about it. Like, she had an eye for it, and.
I'm telling you, bro, there's $100 bills just sitting in there all day long.
That's nuts.
But you have to want to do it, then you have to like clean it, then you have to list it, then you have to store it, and then you have to ship it.
It reminds me of digging for vinyl, but even more, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You go dig for vinyl, man. I mean, some of it stinks. Your hands get dirty. You get tired from flopping this plastic over. You don't want to bend it.
Mm-hmm.
You're pulling stuff out, trying to see. You might find 3 copies of the same thing, but one doesn't have a liner note, so one's a better copy, or one, is missing the second, the second record to the set. You know what I'm saying? So it just reminds me of that one.
It's the same thing with vinyl.
It requires patience.
Sorry.
Go ahead, man.
It's very vinyl. Are like people that are serious crate diggers, and people that are bin diggers have a lot in common, because you kind of have to have a knack for it.
Indeed.
Like put Luke and I against each other in like a Goodwill with bins, and you would probably smoke me, like in terms of like what has value and stuff, because like I just don't know. Like,
yeah, I got an eye for it because like early on growing up, I mean, the generation, we were so being inundated. I mean, now you are too, but then it was like brand, commercial, and you're like, I want those. So I remember just, even if it wasn't like something I wanted to rock, like I remember the brand because I remember the commercial. I remember the advertisement because, the mall was still the spot to go when you were a kid. You know what I mean? You wanted to go to the mall because malls were, the mega mall thing was still kind of new. It's just like, dude, it's just like in Stranger Things, bro. Like in the last season when they build the mall, everybody goes to the mall.
Bro.
It was like that. You know what I mean?
That was that era, bro.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nah, man, you're talking. Go ahead.
But I was just saying about the bins, bro. Like I go there and like, a lot of the stuff I'm buying to flip, and I'm paying like, like a quarter for a shirt, and then I could potentially sell that shirt for like, I got this like Shaq shirt for sale right now for like $100.
Whoa.
And I got like 10 watchers. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So it hasn't sold yet, but
people
I'm probably not quite in the right price range, but I might lower it eventually. But so it's like I would go for business, but then I started finding stuff that was like, I'm like, oh man, like this fits me perfect. And the cool thing about buying used clothes, especially clothes that were made in the 80s and 90s, is I think they were made better, and the fit was different, bro. Like t-shirts were a little bit more slender and longer.
Facts, bro.
You know what I mean?
Goodness, yes.
And the thing is too, now it's been washed, and you already know how it fits. You're not buying this new shirt, taking it home. I love this shirt. I love these jeans, and then you wash them and dry them, and all of a sudden it's ruined.
Well, bro, real quick, that's why I, again, with the old stuff and me being boring in Thomas fashion, thread count is everything. That's one of the things that makes. No, it is.
Do it, bro.
That's
Someone's got to talk about the thread count.
Did you see that? He's like, it's everything.
It is, bro. You
just sold some major sheets of Bed Bath & Beyond.
Bro, thread count of a shirt too, though.
Represent.
Thread count of a garment. I mean, but thread count does matter for sheets too. I'm not
absolutely.
But for like shirts and stuff too, though, that's really what. So like you can get Ralph Lauren and Nautica stuff, and there's varying grades. You even have like Ralph Lauren, chaps. But like the really high end polo stuff, you always notice that the thread. I'm talking about like shirts and stuff. Any polo garment, the thread count is just. It's spectacular, The same goes for like the original Champion sweatshirts. You can fill that one that made out of cotton and Baumwool or whatever it's called, Baumwool, and then you can fill another sweatshirt. Nothing compares to that. It's just that those garments are complete. They're just another level as far. And like you said, the cut, the thread count, of course, the fit, everything about it. It's gonna wear. It's gonna wear, and it's gonna wear when you wash it and everything else. Like unlike anything else.
What is that called? I know with leather it's called patina. Like as you have a piece of leather and it wears the patinas.
Yeah, they say that with cars too. They say that with cars too.
Vintage stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I didn't.
As long as it's good, right? You don't want something with strings hanging out the side after you dry it the first time. Like, shirts the sleeves get all short. I
mean, I still stand by I limit myself. Like, I'm not going to pay like $100 for jeans. Mm-hmm. Levi's, I wait till Levi's go on sale and buy those, and they fit just as well. And there are things that I will splurge on every once in a while. Like, I have a Gucci money clip that I paid like $150 for. the thing looks it's immaculate shape. Like I use that every single day for years, and it still is in great shape.
That's the thing. You buy quality, bro.
Finding things to spend quality in. It's like with your music equipment.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna just go out and I found this on eBay and it was super cheap, but I'm gonna use it.
I'm not gonna save $100 to get something that's not even half as good.
Yeah.
Facts, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's one thing to think about it. Because like you can go buy like fashion is way more accessible these days than it used to be, bro. Like when I was a kid, to get some of that brand stuff, it was expensive, bro. There wasn't like the outlets as much as there is now.
And you had to go to Portland, and like it was.
Or you had to go on a trip to the beach and stop on the way to the outlet or something.
Oh yeah.
Like, but even then, it was like I rock stuff that was like different, like crazy colors because it was the discount stuff. You know what I mean? So I'd be wearing like some bright yellow Adidas sweatshirt because it was like $9.99 at the outlet store. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Knowing where to invest in certain quality.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. Is like, you know, maybe it's going to cost you more up front. But you might be buying something that you could almost pass down. I mean, it's hard to find stuff that these days. To buy that kind of quality these days is, I think, really expensive because you got all these like name brands, you know, that were built into super quality. And you can see in order to keep their price point at a place where the market doesn't look crazy, they've substituted with the thickness and quality. Dude, because like if you want to buy a traditional pair of Levi's like they used to be made back in the day, that thick, you know, denim, it's like $200 bucks.
Yeah,
bro.
and you're probably gonna have to go on Japanese eBay for it.
It's almost like Carhartt, the thread count and the feel. You know, it's a heavier, like you said, it's a heavier denim. So yeah,
well,
I mean,
and that's why there were so much like it's probably more of a like early 2000s, late 90s or 90s, you know, but probably even 80s, but like old Levi's with the capital E, like dude, those are worth tons. Like, you know, it was the big thing. It was like those are worth a ton in Japan, but they're kind of worth, you know. So it's like that old count stuff, and you hear people talk about in songs, like "sold my blue jeans" or whatever. Like, so it was kind of like a thing. It wasn't just like now we can go out and we get a $20 pair of jeans, but bro, like it was almost like your suit in a sense. Like you just invested in something really quality because stuff was better quality back then. You know what I mean?
Well, for a while, Graham's mom would look for Levi's that had been worn. Because Levi's that had been worn were worth more to sell than ones that were just fresh, that just, you know,
distressed.
Yeah, that like someone had worn it, you know, like that the wearing right here of someone like maybe that kept a pen or a knife like next to their, like they want the character that is associated with.
Dude, the chew thing in the back pocket.
Oh,
the little circle when someone or their wallet mark, like that kind of stuff. Was those subtleties that people will like. You know what I mean? Because it adds so much fashion.
Character, and it's not just like it's going to be more original than something you just buy off the shelf. And the Japanese, like I keep referring back to them, but they're like the kings of fashion in a lot of ways. I feel they've been so ahead of the game. I have a shoe magazine from 1997 that is this thick, and it's all shoes, and like I didn't even understand it. Like we had some exchange students stay with us for 2 weeks, and when they left some of their magazines, and that was one of them. Boone, I think it was called, which is, I think it's still around today. I didn't understand it. I was like, man, why are they asking so much money for these Adidas or these Sauconys or like these Pumas? Like, I don't understand. But I mean, it hasn't changed at all. And same thing with the
Japan's pretty high fashion, bro. Like, but what we're talking about in a subtle way, because they'll have these magazines over there, and literally you flip through them, they'll probably be like 4, 8, 12, like maybe 6, 8, 16 pictures, and they'll just be these picture, and they'll stop people that are walking around the streets of Tokyo or Osaka, and they'll be like, "Whoa, like,
what are you wearing?
You were dressed very intentionally. It's not because you're wearing Gucci, you're wearing Versace, you're wearing old whatever. It's like your jeans go with your shoes. Your whole outfit is intentional, and dude, so that's a huge thing over in Japan, bro. Like, I mean, if you go to like the bigger like areas in Tokyo, I mean, people are, and what I'm talking, it could be like the Hesh Fresh. It's like the intention. So I think it's like the intention behind your clothing more than what you're wearing. You know what I mean? In building that confidence. You know what I mean?
What you just said made me think of this Q-tip line. He says, in God Lives Through, he says, "While my Nikes match my low hat, beat joint is mad fat. Got the cutter of the ox. No, got a cutter of the box if a kid think he's ox." So he's just talking about, you know, how he presents himself on a regular basis. You know, he tries to look fresh, You know what I'm saying? Again, he's self-styles and he's intentional, but at the same time, he's got a bit of an edge to it as well. That's why he described the box cutter. But he's just saying, like, he's a street dude, but he tries to stay on the humble, but he also tries to stay fresh, you know what I'm saying, as far as how he dresses. And you see a lot of that from hip-hop and other things parlayed into how people kind of dress.
I think intent.
It's just cross cultures and a lot of stuff. What you gonna say?
I was going to say, I think intent is a fantastic way of putting it. Like, I didn't think about it in that sense until you...
What did you say, bro?
mentioned
Intent?
Intent. Like, wearing something with intent.
Okay, gotcha, excuse me.
You know, like...
I think your whole life is good to have intention behind everything you do. You know?
I cannot agree with you.
I mean, but there's a portion of the general population that doesn't. They just kind of are just there.
Yeah.
You know, like I can tell the difference between like a little Big Burger versus a McDonald's Big Mac. But there are some people that can't tell the difference, and they don't really care.
I think it's more or less that they don't care. I mean, because again, like the whole perspective stuff, it's like it's very easy to evaluate or get it, or you can evaluate and you can get an idea or even conjure up a hypothesis of what someone is or isn't doing with what they wear. But at the end of the day, unless you talk to them, it's really just that. So I hate your point, but I'm still throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So.
Expressing your intent, I think, is a really good way of putting it, Luke.
For me, I think it's just I want to go out the door and I want to feel good. Like it really doesn't have to do. Like I think someone could dress me up that would definitely get me more attention, maybe. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Right.
It wouldn't be me.
Well, it's not
you know,
for
it's
the
funny,
heart.
bro. Because like I had a buddy, Adrian, that I skated with, right? And he was from New York or from Rochester, so from the East Coast. But he was over here and he pretty much dressed the same way I did, for the most part, just kind of skater, whatever, like. But he started working at a bar, serving drinks, and it was somewhat fancy, not super fancy. But he's like, he had a coworker be like, dude, you should start wearing tight shirts. He's like, what? He's like, dude, wear tight shirts, form-fitting shirts. He's like, you're gonna get way more tips. He's like, all right. So he did it. He started wearing like tight shirts. You know what I mean? He was just like so he just wore tight shirts. It shows like you were talking about that, someone's wearing more form-fitting clothes and I show more confidence and stuff like that. Bro, and it totally did. He started getting more tips, dude. He was getting like dates like crazy. Because
Really?
I mean, that's the one thing, bro. If you want to get dates, like more dates, you should probably have those 5 guys come over and hook you up on what to wear and how to make some hors d'oeuvres.
Or just go see Luke and he'll tell you to wear the tight shirts.
Y'all crazy, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, if you want to stay single, making beats by yourself, dress like me.
But you
I can't believe you just did that.
You still like you dress nice though, like how you're dressed. It's still fresh though. It's
like I said, it's the Hesh fresh. For me, it's like people would look at it and they'd be like, I don't see anything. But I'm like, I got this kind of somewhat older Nautica hat that I found at the bins.
It's dope though, bro.
Which isn't the fitted hat, the style hat I would normally wear, but. It's like I like it. I got my Thrasher shirt that represents.
And you know what Thrasher actually is. You're not just
because I've
wearing
been
it.
skating like before it was a trend 5 years ago or whatever.
Which is why I don't dress like a skateboarder. That's another reason. I have no intent.
I don't let them take it from me though.
No. I'm like, hey.
It drives
man,
me.
do what
I
you
would
will.
just like to
Don't
go
talk
on
about
a
me.
side
But
note.
you've always been like that though for the most
Yes, I
part,
have.
bro.
I mean, I used to have a desire to dress like a skateboarder, and I was just like, meh.
Yeah.
But nah, man, this has been dope, man. I mean, we said this a lot about a lot of stuff, but I think we should probably do a part 2 elaborating upon this because this is definitely something we could talk about for a very long time.
I think we should come up with some actual examples too of like people throughout our time that we maybe feel have set some trends or done things that are kind of cool. You know what I mean? That kind of put us where we're at. So because like I said, I think skateboarding and hip hop for all 3 of us, we can say
Hand in
we've
hand.
gleaned a lot from that, and that
Most
is definitely us. So some 90s kids.
Most
hip-hop
definitely.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that like I would just like to say I'm very proud of myself for having an outfit that is together because as a father of an 18-month-old, my wife and I are excited if we're wearing like actual clothes when we leave the house. Like we went to a friend's daughter's 8-year-old birthday party. I think it was last weekend. No, the weekend before because last weekend was Mother's Day, and we were like. Yeah, we're wearing an outfit. We're each wearing like jeans.
I'm just
and,
wearing
like,
sweatpants.
And I mean, COVID was a huge part of that too. Like people don't give a fuck like what they're wearing because of COVID. Like, and I get it. Like you're just grabbing something and you're going back home.
I
you
know. I'm just, I don't. Go ahead. What are you talking?
But I mean, that's how you.
Nah, go finish your point.
No, that was my point.
Yeah,
Bro,
that is
I'm
something though.
listening to
I would say because like if you're gonna go out, you're gonna be dressed nice, right?
I think it's just the Libra in me, bro. Even like listening to what you're saying about parents, I was never like that. With both bro. I would iron my clothes and my son's clothes when he was like a baby.
I have been around you when you've ironed everyone's.
I'm like, no, bro. That what I come from, bro. You don't walk out the house looking like bad, bro. It's just it's unacceptable. Anytime I step out the house, I try to put my best foot forward. I try to smell good, look good, the whole 9 yards. But that's me. I'm just saying. For me, I'm like, I don't subscribe to it.
I think that's dope, bro. And like for me, like that's something I look to because for me it was like I'm showered and my clothes are clean.
Nah, but that's a premise though, bro.
But that's me.
Huge.
Like, and then I was like, I'm good. I put a hat on. You know, I didn't even have to worry about
huge,
the hair,
though, bro. I mean, a lot of people don't even do that. Bro, you can just go out the house and smell and tell people didn't do that. I mean, in all honesty, like, bro, people be out there smelling horrible. You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say I can vouch for your precision on your ironing. I have watched you iron stuff before.
I've gotten a little bit better.
It was a meditation. Bro. Watching you do it, I
you get the spray bottle out and he's like,
yeah, basically.
And he's like, and he gets real low and he's like,
dude, we need to do a video
of T
just like relax, like put on when you want to just chill out and watch T just iron, bro.
Yeah, I want to see that. If you want to fall asleep, watch T iron. If you want to get angrily bored, watch T.
You can hear the iron go.
Yeah,
over the little
you gotta get
dude,
it,
that's satisfying though, man. That hearing that water and then getting that straight. I don't do it, but I've done it.
I don't know, man. My father was hardcore about it, bro. My father would make me iron the same thing 6 or 7 times if it wasn't done right, And I used to be so mad at him, but now I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, but
like
that explains why you would re-iron stuff like 2 or 3 times and we'd be kicking it.
I've gotten better though. I would never leave the house with my shirt looking like, see this? I would never allow that. I would never allow this, bro. But I don't know. You kind of, I've relaxed a little bit as I've gotten older, but even still, sometimes I'm like, nope. And then I go back and iron it.
I've seen you with more button-ups than polos. It used to be polos. You used to wear polos all the time.
I did, yeah.
So I'd say that,
Yeah, bro. What's up with the polos, bro? The polos are dope.
I don't know. I mean,
is it a little too young? Is it a little too young?
No.
Is it because Abercrombie and Fitch went out of business?
No, probably.
You didn't wear it, bro.
No, I don't know, man.
Talk about a trend. Let's 90s. That was. I remember when Aeropostale and Abercrombie and Fitch hit my school. It was just like
Aeropostale to me was always the wannabe.
I mean, they at least had some graffiti stuff.
And then the Abercrombie thing, I could never do because it was a different thing.
I had some Abercrombie
stuff. I'm super guilty, bro.
For me,
I lived at that.
I had a pair of shorts, and I still have this. It's amazing. It's a super heavy sweater hoodie that I have.
I just wanted to date the girls that wore Abercrombie.
Well, I mean, I remember when Hollister and Abercrombie were together, you could just smell them when you walked by.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is that era, dude. Hookah Shells, Abercrombie and Fitch, and what was the cologne? Blue, cool
Aqua,
blue,
Aqua di Gio.
Also, I got one more for you.
Cool water cologne.
Calvin Klein 1, CK1,
bro.
Yeah. Everybody was wearing that. Like, oh my goodness.
I like the Jordan cologne, bro. I never bought it, but I was like, man, if I was gonna wear something, I'd probably wear that.
That's crazy.
I mean, I worked fragrance for
I bought a fragrance though from you. I did. I bought the Ralph Lauren, the little black bottle one.
The Ralph Lauren Black.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that one too. I actually just finished a bottle of that in 2014, but it was funny. I had.
fragrance is important, man.
I gave you stuff too. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. You probably did.
I had a whole shelf on this bookshelf that I had that was dedicated to all the stuff that I'd get because I wouldn't buy stuff. You'd get free stuff. You'd go let's say Ralph Lauren would, debuting Polo Black. Mm-hmm. And I'd go and have breakfast or lunch with a bunch of other people from the other stores, and then they'd feed us, and then they'd give you gratis, which means a bag full of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like everything that's in there, and they'd give you perfume, and I'm a single dude at the time. What am I gonna do with this? Mm-hmm. So I got I had so much cologne it was ridiculous.
No such thing as too much cologne.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'll argue that.
I disagree.
I just like fragrances,
bro. It's I don't know, man. For me, it's the more essential oils I smell just because I'm working in natural foods, so sometimes you get just this heavy cloud, and it's not even. I don't even smell patchouli that much anymore. But
patchouli smells like bread mold to me.
So you like patchouli, right?
I do.
I don't like patchouli.
It smells like
I can't handle
when you
it.
open up a bag. I mean, either when you open up a bag and it's a bread.
I told
and it's
you I'm
moldy.
boring, bro. I mean,
That's
I'm
not boring. To me, that's just like I associate it with like just like
Hippies.
hippies. Yeah.
Yeah, it smells like bread. Like so, when a hippie, someone that's like more into that stuff is wearing it, they smell.
To me,
like
it's masking
mold.
a smell. Oh, dude, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to those people.
It's all right.
Oh, and on a side note, did you guys
But
see that Post Malone has released Crocs, special edition? Crocs?
Oh, that was a while ago, wasn't it? He was
Black
rocking
with
those
pink
things?
on the inside. No, they're releasing them for people to buy now.
Yeah, I saw him
We all need
wearing
to
them,
cop
yeah.
some. You know what I'm saying?
I don't wear Crocs, bro.
I think they gave Drake one too, bro.
Did they?
That's so smart. Why wouldn't they? They're gonna sell a ton of them, bro.
They went under. I mean, they went like rock bottom for a while. They weren't selling.
That's the normcore thing, bro. That is like that's what I'm saying. Like the Monarchs, it's like it's cool because it's not cool. It's like
Exactly.
everybody else thinks it's dumb, so I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna be unique, and that's why it's cool.
And then everyone else is like,
and
oh,
everybody catches on. Yeah.
social media has
That
a
with lot
huge
of
part of
trends,
that.
man.
Yeah. That's why you see like a lot of these like fashion designers, bro. They don't even follow their own trends. They don't change it up.
Exactly.
They don't change it up. They're
Exactly.
classic, bro. They're setting the trend for everybody else. Like, you go run off, give me your money. I'm gonna be back here chilling with my classic look, you know.
I'm not gonna
No,
lie. If I had the money, I would probably wear suits every day.
Dude, I'd have a rude boy suit, bro. I'd be,
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
I would have one. You know what I mean? I wouldn't wear it every day, but I'd have one.
If I had the money, I would wear suits every day. Not necessarily a tie, but I would wear a suit.
I'd look like I was in the specials from like 1980, bro.
He said the special.
Talk about a timeless style.
Yeah, that to me, black suit, white shirt, black tie, bro.
I mean, hey, you know, like you said, Thomas, and it works, and you can style so many different ways.
Mhm.
Man, this has been dope, man. I
It
think we
has
should
been
probably
dope.
get ready to, you know.
Yeah, we've been talking for like
close,
2
but, Hey,
hours.
look, real quick, I told you guys,
Yeah.
I want to clarify something from the last episode about hip hop. So before I forget, because I forget a lot, the 4 drummers that basically started sampled drums in hip hop as far as the quote unquote boom bap sound were Clyde Stubblefield, Jabbo Starks. They both drummed for James Brown, Idris Muhammad, and what's his name? See, his name always.
Oh,
makes
you
me-
had it earlier.
Yeah, I know, right? Bernard Purdy.
Boom.
And so here you go. All 4 of those drummers, well, the 3 except for Bernard Purdy, were all from down south. And Bernard Purdy, like I was telling him earlier, I'm just regurgitating this. He was from Maryland, so that's southern enough. And of sorts, if you ever lived in Maryland, you would know. But nonetheless, it just shows you that a lot of the sound that we eventually equated as boom bap pretty much came from down south. I mean, there are a lot of good jazz, funk, and soul musicians from down south. I mean, James Brown was a blueprint for a lot of that stuff. But even the musicians that came up under him or were associated with him helped establish that sound. You know, come full circle, and people don't even remember that. They think of the South and they think of 808, which is fine, but you have to also understand that the South really did birth that sound, literally birthed that sound. Were it not for those 4 drummers, who probably wouldn't have drum breaks like we have to sample to create that sound that everyone basically uses MPC to produce. All right, I'm done.
No doubt.
Question, trivia question for you guys. There is one individual that is responsible for all modern music. Do you guys?
I have no idea.
He is a jazz musician. There's
Nope,
your hint.
no idea.
Louis Armstrong.
That's what I was gonna say.
Louis Armstrong is responsible for modern timing in music.
Okay.
Because Ken Burns' wonderful documentary, Jazz, it's illustrated. There was a point in Louis Armstrong's career where he broke away from the jazz band that he was in, King Oliver's Creole jazz band, and he broke away from that and started to do his own thing, and that's when he brought music into modern timing. Because if you listen to a lot of the older jazz, it all, like, I love it, it sounds great, but it also kind of has like one specific like pattern to it, like rhythm to it.
Agreed.
Yeah, you could sample some Armstrong and flip it, you know, like some of the stuff.
Excuse me. Well, like, he started to play with the timing, and like the bum 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 ba da 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 dun da dun. Like, he, rather than playing like the whole note, he would like play parts of it. You know, break, kind of like how you break up a sample. He did that with his trumpet.
Well,
He's a
half note,
genius.
quarter note, all that stuff.
That's the other thing, bro. Without jazz, man, like I would say that jazz is the huge.
I would-
Man, we're getting into a whole nother episode.
I would just like to say that one of the
Yeah, well-
things I appreciate about being, you know, an older, someone going on 40, is that my appreciation for jazz has increased exponentially as I always liked it and appreciated it, but I mean, I'll put on John Coltrane and Miles Davis and like listen to the whole thing rather than just like, oh yeah, put it on, yeah, it's cool, I like this, and like, yeah.
That's what's up. Well,
thank you guys for having me on, by the way.
Yeah,
this was
I was gonna say
an amazing
we'll have him
experience.
on another one, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we'll see what that one will be about, man. But this has been dope, man. Hopefully you guys can glean, whatever you can from it, man. That you enjoy what we talked about. I did. So.
Yeah, we did. You just kind of a peep into like the conversation.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thank you guys for having me very much. This is also a little bit nicer than, I guess, than sitting outside at a coffee shop drinking chai tea.
That's what the green screen's for, though, bro. It's all good.
You guys gonna put the pied cow behind us?
I don't know. We'll see what Luke is like.
I haven't been there.
Dope.
I haven't been there since.
Bro, I'm just gonna be back here making bunny ears.
I think you should do that, bro.
Just take an old picture of CJ and have him like in the distance, like staring.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know,
tell him,
if you guys don't know, we got a green screen up right now. So I don't know if you're probably not gonna see it because the intent is to put something back there. But
Indeed.
we're in a green studio, so that's why we covered the wall with the green screen because we got a bunch of unfinished walls. But this is the home of the new Grown Man Cipher.
Indeed.
So it's gonna be a little bit more legit here.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm not just saying this because you guys are homies. Like, I'm a fan of the podcast, and so
I am too.
I'm very humbled that you guys wanted to put me on. So, and it's been great to reconnect with Luke after this.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything else you
No.
want to say, man? All right.
All right, why don't you
y'all.
take us out, Tommy? Say
Yeah.
peace from the Grown Man Cipher.
Yeah,
What do you
peace
got?
and peace.
Peace out from the Grown Man Cipher.
Get money like whoa, they disrupting that. They sit and stole, I reverse my situation back. We're through the spot, gain knowledge on the habitat. React with quickness, monitoring.